Hey everyone, welcome back to Mindful Insights. Today we're diving into a topic that many of us tend to avoid: tough conversations with our loved ones. But is staying silent really the best anesthetic for our relationships, or are we just numbing the inevitable pain? That's what we're going to explore today, so grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's jump right in. Let's be honest, we often avoid tough conversations because we're, afraid of arguments, afraid of hurting someone's feelings, afraid of awkward silences that could rival a mime convention. It's like choosing between broccoli and ice cream. We'd much rather go for the sweet stuff. But sometimes, just like our bodies need those green veggies, our relationships need a little dose of honesty, even if it's a tad bitter at first. The big question we need to ask ourselves is, does avoiding the issue actually solve anything? Spoiler alert, it usually doesn't. Here's the thing about avoiding difficult discussions. Those problems we try so hard to ignore, they don't just disappear. Nope, they're like that junk drawer in your kitchen. It starts with one stray rubber band, and next thing you know, it's overflowing with batteries, expired coupons, and who knows what else. Instead of a calm, rational conversation, it all comes out in a messy explosion of emotions. The kind that leaves everyone feeling hurt, misunderstood, and wondering where it all went wrong. Not exactly the recipe for a happy, healthy relationship, right? One of the most common places we see the effects of avoiding tough conversations is in the parent-child relationship. But here's the thing. Sometimes when we don't feel comfortable talking about the big stuff, career choices, personal struggles, relationships, our deepest dreams and fears, a gap starts to form. We build walls instead of bridges. And while it might seem easier in the moment to avoid those potentially awkward or emotional conversations, the long-term cost can be huge. Because at the end of the day, don't we all just crave that deep connection and understanding with the people we love most? Take a teenager who wants to pursue a career in arts but fears their parents' disapproval. By avoiding the conversation, they might follow a path they don't love, leading to regret. Meanwhile, the parents remain unaware, missing the chance to guide and support their child in a way that works for both of them. Many people in their 30s or 40s realize they never really knew their parents and vice versa. Not because they didn't care, but because certain conversations never happened. Now let's take this to the workplace. Because believe it or not, those difficult conversations aren't just important in our personal relationships. They can make or break careers too. Staying silent might seem like the easier path, but it can lead to resentment, burnout, and missed opportunities for growth. Successful people will tell you that their careers took off when they stopped fearing difficult conversations, whether it was negotiating salaries, resolving workplace conflicts, or seeking honest feedback. Here's the good news. When we have open and honest conversations, even when they're tough, something magical happens. Think about it. Wouldn't you rather know where you stand with someone, even if it's not always sunshine and rainbows, than walk around on eggshells, wondering what they're really thinking? And that vulnerability, that willingness to be open and honest with each other, is what creates a truly strong and resilient bond. Honest conversations don't always mean agreeing on everything, but they do mean seeing each other's perspective more clearly. You know what's truly heartbreaking? Hearing people's biggest regrets. And you know what often tops that list? Not saying what needed to be said when they had the chance. It's the missed I love yous, the unresolved arguments, the apologies never offered. Life is unpredictable, and we never know how much time we have with the people we care about. So why wait for a grand gesture or a perfect moment that might never come? Sometimes the most important conversations are the simplest ones, the ones where we just speak from the heart. Okay, so we've talked about why avoiding tough conversations can do more harm than good, but what about the how? How do we actually approach these conversations in a way that's constructive, not catastrophic? First things first, remember that the goal is to understand each other, not to win an argument. It's like a dance, not a boxing match. Second, timing is everything. Don't try to hash things out when you're both exhausted, stressed, or hangry. Seriously, never underestimate the power of a good snack break. Choose your words carefully. Saying "I feel like" instead of "you always" prevents it from sounding like an attack. And finally, listen actively. Sometimes the best thing you can do is really hear the other person. Now, if the thought of having a deep emotional conversation sends you running for the hills, that's okay. You don't have to become a communication guru overnight. Start small. Think of it like training for a marathon. You wouldn't expect to run 26.2 miles on day one, right? You'd start with shorter distances, build up your endurance, and celebrate those small victories along the way. The same goes for communication. Start by getting comfortable being honest in everyday moments, saying no when you mean it, addressing minor concerns before they become major ones. Every small step in open communication makes the big conversations easier when they come. So, is avoiding difficult conversations really the best way to keep the peace? Maybe in the short term, but in the long run, it often causes more harm than good. Think of it like this. A little rain might dampen things momentarily, but it's essential for growth. It clears the air, nourishes the soil, and allows for something beautiful to blossom. Honest communication, even when it's uncomfortable, is like that rain. It might bring up some messy emotions, but it ultimately strengthens relationships, fosters trust, and allows us to connect on a deeper, more meaningful level. Have you ever struggled with a tough conversation? Let's talk about it in the comments. Did you avoid it? Did you face it head on? I'd love to hear your experiences. And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It really helps others to find the video and join in on the conversation. Remember, we're all in this together, navigating the ups and downs of life and relationships. See you in the next one.